Welcome to Financial Flight Academy with John Schuetz and Brent Connelly from Soar Wealth Strategies. In this podcast, we inspire families and business owners to build a foundation for their financial future. We do this by listening and building trust with our clients. Join us for this journey where we explore ways to protect your nest and live out your dreams as John and Brent draw from years of experience and guest experts to help you take that leap of faith.
Well, if you've ever thought the American dream is dead, think again. Today's guest immigrated to the United States, didn't know English very much, and is now the director of architecture and DevOps. What does that mean, Karim? I don't know. I haven't even introduced you yet. We'll talk about that in a second. For the largest healthcare staffing company in the United States. I'm John Schuetz.
And I'm Brent Connelly. We are the founding partners of Soar Wealth Strategies. And as always, the goal of this podcast is to inspire and teach out there that the American dream is possible.
Yeah, and this guest will get the job done. So welcome, Karim Khayati, to Financial Flight Academy. Welcome, Karim.
Thank you, John.
All right. So what do you do over there at Aya?
So Aya Healthcare is the largest medical staffing company right now in the U.S. And to support the growth and all the operation that we do provide for all the hospitals and clinics throughout the 50 states, we needed a very strong technology system. So my role is to help design, scale all the systems that will make sure we'll get nurses, physicians, clinicians placed at the right time at the right hospital. So all that IT, infrastructure, technology, engineers enablement, so they can come in, especially remotely. We're 100% remote. So think about having 500 engineers throughout the 50 states and nearshore and offshore, being able to come in at any time and do their job. So my job is, with my team, of course, is to enable all these engineers and support our business.
See, Brent, I told you we wouldn't understand it. So,
right. Yeah. Well, right. Karim, we have a kind of a running joke around here that every day the technology, IT specialist here at Soar, it rotates.
It rotates. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoever has the problem is the IT guy.
Now,
so let's start with the backstory here a little bit first. We'll get more to the company.
I'm fascinated. So tell me a little bit about where you're from and how you ended up here in the United States.
So I was born and grew up in one of the most beautiful countries, Tunisia. Tunisia is, if you think about, kind of Morocco, North Africa, a little bit touching Sicily, Italy. And I grew up there, I did my undergrad. Actually, I was going for a CPA. I did, based on the French system. Tunisia followed the French education system. So did all that and started thinking about coming to the US. For whatever reasons, that was one of the dreams that I developed as I was growing, and things lined up. Got lucky, got pulled into the diversity visa program in 1997, I believe. And
how does that work, Karim?
You apply. There's some rules, right? They will require some rules. I don't know if the rules are still the same or not. I think they're still you have to have a bachelor degree. You have to do all these things. And I did apply, and my wife and I got lucky. We got selected, and we went through the whole process. By the way, it's a very, very rigorous process. It takes about a year. The funniest part is the last interview, I had no idea how big the US is, right? What you see in the movies, right? New York, LA. And I remember the last interview was like a few weeks before we came here, was with the US ambassador in Tunisia. And she said, "Where are you going?" And the only person I knew was going to one of my friends in high school was doing his PhD in UNL. And I told her, "I'm going to Lincoln, Nebraska." And the lady looked and was like, "Do you know where that is?" I was like, "No." You have a lot of thick clothes. Tunisia is 70 degrees and people are cold, right?
Right.
Oh, that sounds nice.
So I think she kind of said, like, "Hey, this guy has no idea." And 2 weeks later, we were in Lincoln, Nebraska. So it's been beautiful since then.
So what was your first impression of the snow and the winter here?
We were so excited. Literally, we were like, I think it snowed the first year around, I think, close to Christmas. And my wife and I thought it was the most beautiful thing until we have to clean this. So yeah, it was fun. And now, it's fun for a few days with the kids and stuff like that. But it is part of what we do, right? That's part of Nebraska. So.
Don't worry, you'll end up disliking it, much like the rest
of us. No, I'm there yet, but
not beautiful anymore.
No,
you got over it.
No.
Well, you were kind of destined to come to the United States, right? right? I mean, with your birthday and
Yeah, born on the July 4th and
Oh,
got married
wow.
on July 4th. So
Wow.
yeah.
was that a happy? I mean, obviously the birth was a happy coincidence, but I mean, was the marriage?
The marriage was because from a timing perspective, right? We had because of how things worked out and our move to the US was really kind of the and that was a Saturday. So 1998 Saturday, first one of July was July 4th, right? So it worked for, I guess, for all good reasons.
And when you got to Nebraska, were you surprised that there were not? It was not like Manhattan, the pictures you had seen.
So I remember vividly coming in at like 1 a.m. and we landed in Chicago. We did all the paperwork there, the immigration things, and then we didn't even leave the airport, and we came at 1 a.m. My buddy waited for me at the Lincoln Airport. You know how small that is, and I was all imagining, right? He lives in the 50th floor, and we're gonna drive through all these things, and then I think he had a small 1-bedroom apartment on like 11th and B. There was no. Not even a 2-floor building. And it was like, okay, maybe in the morning, maybe I'm tired. I've been traveling for like 5 hours.
Sure. Yeah, delirious.
Then, woke up, I think we were right on Friday night. This is over 25 years ago. On Saturday, it hit me that this is different.
Mm-hmm.
And we really thought, what, maybe a couple weeks, couple months we'll go. But you know what? 25 years later, have a family, 4 kids, and cannot ask for a better place to have a family. So yeah, it's been beautiful.
Wow, that's great. So how much English did you speak then when you showed up?
My English I took literally 2-3 classes as a third language, and there was no incentive for me to learn English. All the business, all the education was in French, spoke Arabic as well. So English was no incentive. And I really thought about coming to the States, but I really did not do the calculus that I really need English. It only hit me here. So yeah, we went to community college. We took a couple of English classes as a second language and watch a lot of movies, Blockbuster, Hollywood, if you remember those things.
Vaguely.
A couple movies every day with subtitles on. And we had a great support system. So this is something, if somebody listening to this and want to help somebody, the support, I remember like my friend, the second week took me to Funny Bone. And he said, I don't understand
the comedy
jokes.
club.
Yeah,
right?
he was from my home country. So like, this was the one in downtown, like.
Oh yeah, Old
and
Market.
He said, Old Market. And he said, and I told him, he's like, we spoke a different language. Like, I don't get it. And he said, just laugh, just try to follow. And we did that few weeks, and I started getting the jokes, right? So you put the effort, you have a good support system. I remember my friends, we all spoke at least one language. Sometimes we spoke 2 languages, and only speaking English, right? It's for you. They really made it harder for me and my wife. My wife was a little bit better than me. She actually, her English was a tiny bit better, but yeah, we had a good support system that really kind of within a year, I was working as an engineer and one of the largest company here in town, and I guess I did okay.
So you learned English from Larry the Cable Guy. That explains the accent.
Yes, right. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. No, it was fun.
So tell me a little bit about your education. And you already had your bachelor's degree when you came here, correct?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we had the bachelor degree. I did mine in accounting finance. With a minor in kind of a little bit of technology. The 90s technology is very, very different than what
a little bit.
I came here, went, as I told you, to, did ESL classes, 2-3, and then I transitioned to like finance accounting. And then if you remember then the Y2K era, right? I think if you can spell computer, you can get a job. So I thought, this is a good way to transition and have a good, decent living. And I really fell in love with what I learned how to do at that time, going through, programming classes at Metro and UNL. But I never had a degree until later on. I was like, I really want to get a degree here. I'm part of this. So I went back to Creighton and I got my master. So yeah. And my wife, the same thing, right? She had a finance degree and she wanted to get back, and she really fell in love with the medical field. She went and got her BSN, and now she's working as an RN in one of the local hospitals. The one thing I really want to emphasize, I tell this to my kids, the privilege that we have here, right? And how, as hard as we think it is really easy compared to other places. And that's one thing, is like, it is within reach. It is within 2 steps. Right. So we're really privileged to have a lot of things that sometimes we don't appreciate. But I think, you just put the effort and put your heart and mind, and you can get a lot of things done.
I love that because
Right.
we've talked to our kids a lot about that. You think it's tough.
Yeah.
Your tough day.
Yeah,
People would pray for in some other places in the world.
absolutely.
So, well, let's move on to kind of the next phase here, Karim, and talk about your ascent up the old job ladder. And let's work our way back. Again, your role at it's Aya or
Aya Health.
Aya Healthcare, right? So, how many you supervise the IT pros? You told me a story about you said you outsource a lot of this, and you're pretty successful in Ukraine right
We
now.
have some people in Ukraine. Yeah, we have some good percentage of our employee in Ukraine. They've been with us for a number of years, and they continue to be with us. And the majority is in the U.S. though, through the 50 states,
Yeah.
mainly remote. As the company grows,
It just fascinated me. There's some hurdles there in Ukraine right now, right?
they are doing amazing jobs. Those
Yeah.
people are fighters.
Yeah.
I mean, they do their work, and yeah, they're amazing. Very intelligent, very committed group of people. So yeah.
But still, even still, you're. I think you mentioned to me you're having a hard time
Yeah, right now-
filling every opportunity you've got.
So this is an invitation for all the people who are considering, either a second career or a different career or going to college. Technology there is no, I don't remember in the last 20 plus years, there is a need for engineers across the board, right? Across the spectrum, right?
Right.
On the infrastructure side, on the software development side, on anything, right? There is a huge need. Yeah, you can just look at our website, and we have I think yesterday we had over 70 opening positions in just my area.
Yeah.
So
Making sure that those folks that are going to college, making sure they're picking the right type of field to go into. I mean, talk about the need out there right now.
Yeah, and we do have that conversation a lot with folks here at Soar Wealth Strategies about they want to know how to fund children's educations, and a lot of times the advice is, well, if your child wants to be a teacher, for example, you need to do kind of a cost benefit, right? Do we need to go to a $60,000 university to become a teacher?
Right.
I digress. Back to you, Karim. Let's go
Let's
ahead.
talk about company growth. It sounds like that there's been some amazing growth at the company, and I'm sure it sounds like COVID fueled some of this back in 2020. You want to touch a little bit about the growth of the company? And
yeah, I think, like you said, I think we all know what happened the last 3 years, and the huge need for all the clinicians, right? Nurses and others. So yeah, I mean, our company did an outstanding job positioning itself as the best provider to fill those needs. So yeah, we had that growth, but we sustained it. I think COVID is hopefully behind us now, but our ability to deliver on what we need position us to be and continue to be successful and continue to grow. So yes, the growth is fueled by the need. Started with COVID and even a little bit before COVID, but it continues to be out there, and we're delivering on that.
And we continue to hear that, John, from our clients that are business owners here. They thrived during COVID.
Yep. They adapt.
They did.
Right.
And had phenomenal years.
Yep. And it's a testament not only to, yes, COVID probably helped your business in its growth, but the fact that you took advantage of that.
Right.
A lot of folks were kind of shutting down and pulling it back, not knowing where things were going at that time. So when we talk about staffing in the healthcare industry, what all are you staffing?
We have different verticals. Mainly it's about nurses, but we do serve other roles like physicians, PAs, different clinicians.
So a lot of the traveling nurses.
Travel nurse, we do. Without getting into details, there is per diem, there is placement, long-term contract placement. But yeah, there's travelers. There's different needs that hospitals, clinics have, and we try to kind of find the right fit for that. And that's the key piece that tying it back to our technology, right?
Mm-hmm.
How to match the right candidate with the right clinic or hospital at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the secret sauce that from a technology perspective you need to deliver on. So is how can you make that happen as quick as possible and before your competitors.
So there's a lot more interesting background on Karim that we're going to tackle in just a minute. Excuse me. Yeah, you. Thanks so much for listening to Financial Flight Academy. We hope you're enjoying it so far. If you have any questions or would like to talk more about this topic, you can find us at soarwealthstrategies.com, and all of our social media platforms are listed in the show notes.
And we're back with Financial Flight Academy's guest, Karim Khayati. So, Karim, tell us a little bit how you got to this point in your career. I mean, talk about a leap of faith. You came over here knowing very, very little English. And tell us about the support system that really helped give you the confidence. And tell us a little bit about that story.
So, yes, I mean, as soon as we came here, I think part of it is luck, right? Having the right people that really pushed us and kind of showed us where there's opportunities, right? How to be effective in learning your kind of business and social language, how to try to meet people, right? First 6 months, my friend was like, hey, let's go, let's play racquetball. It's something that will help you, right? Introduced me to a lot of good people throughout my career, professionally and otherwise. Following your dreams, right? Set a goal. To me, I was clear. I want to, I recognize that this technology, I came in 98, it was a thing. And I said, I'm going to invest in that. And I pushed myself, right? I remember going to like work, and then going late and taking night classes and pushing myself. My wife and I were pushing each other to do whatever it takes. And then going after an opportunity. I remember, I think I applied for this first job. I was not even sure if my resume was like spelled correctly, but I did, right? And I remember going to the interview and I said, I was asking, right? I was like, give me this chance, right? My boss, still good friends, my first boss that hired me, and I was like, very good friends, right? And I was like, I followed up, right? I didn't even know that's a thing you need to follow up at an interview, but I did, right? Because I wanted that job. I wanted that opportunity. And I think if you do all these things and you put your heart and mind, and I think things can only come your way. So that's, I think, having the right support system, having, a goal, and push yourself. And at every juncture, I think, kind of evaluate, is this it? Can I do more? Right. And that's I think the key is, I don't think it's that hard. I think all you need to do is, and there's a lot of things. I think the other thing we talked about, the privilege. Look at how much resources we have with the internet, right? I know people say, hey, it's whatever, but there's all these resources. You can take whatever class, anything, within a couple hours. So I think really recognizing all these things that are around you and how they fit into your kind of roadmap of becoming a better professional, a better father, a better neighbor, all these things, right? Better community person. So set a goal and know why you're doing that. And I believe if you do them, they all kind of build on each other, right? So if you're a better father, makes you a better professional, and vice versa. So all those good things.
Yeah, it's a great lesson too, because I learned this lesson very early on in my career. If you don't ask, the answer is no.
Absolutely.
If you do ask, it's 50-50, yes or no, right? So I remember I worked 66 days in a row at a TV station as a weekend sports guy after the sports director had gotten fired. And I finally asked after about 50 days, hey, am I going to get this job? He said, and the news director says to me, well, why? We didn't know you wanted it. Wow. Sometimes you have to ask for what you want for, right? And not be shy about it.
Absolutely.
So pivoting here now, Karim, we are so lucky that you are living here in Omaha. You helped start the Tri-Faith Initiative here in Omaha. First, tell us a little bit about the initiative's intent and how this all came together. And for people who aren't familiar with it, just what the Tri-Faith Initiative is. So go, you got 15 minutes. No, I'm kidding.
So I'm a context guy. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Gallup Strength Finder thing.
Sure.
I want to provide a little bit of context. You have to kind of think back early 2000 and what was happening without getting into the geoeconomics or all these things. And a group of us, my friends, right, we recognized that few things. We needed to have, I grew up in a Muslim country. I'm a Muslim.
Sure.
That we needed to have something in Omaha that represented how we think, how we look at things. We are American Muslim. We made this our home country. And we needed something. And first we were like in West Omaha. So I was like, hey, there's nothing around here as well. So we started thinking about having this presence. But there was, through all these activities, we met some people from the Jewish faith, that they were the leaders of the synagogue on 72nd and Dodge, around that area. And we were having a conversation early on. This is 2005, 2006. Like, would it be nice if we can intentionally move next to each other and share a parking lot.
Yeah, that's
Right?
amazing.
Like,
yeah.
and that's how it started. And then it's like, you know what? Will be more amazing if we can find a Christian partner, right? And this was not about mixing a religion. Was more sending a message that, you know what? We're here in Omaha, one of the most peaceful, beautiful city in the U.S. And if we can do that, we're sending a message that it's much bigger than anything we can. And we did. We really went shopping for and start as a dream, and then we start getting support. And a number of years ago, we have a 70 acres campus on one of the most beautiful piece of land in Omaha, about 132nd and Pacific. That
Brent may have a beef with that land thing because it used to be a golf course.
It did.
Yeah.
But
So, but
I'm going to tell you a little story about that golf course. Do you know what that golf course, the history? Golf course was built in the 1920s by the Jewish, because the Jewish at that time were excluded from, and a group of Jewish people in the 1920 era had that as a country club, but they opened it for everybody. And then through the financial trouble of 2008 and 9, things did not work out. And we were the first buyer of those 70 acres. Right. As a matter of fact, that was actually an incentive to a lot of other business to develop around that area. So the beautiful story of that piece of land continues. And I think it's serving even a bigger purpose right now. So,
it is. I'm glad you purchased it. There's too many trees. I played it once. I was ready to move on. It's a beautiful campus you have over there.
But yeah, it really has kind of continued the mission of uniting rather than
so that's how the story started, and now we're continue to do a lot of good things around the city. So
did you know what you were doing when you were starting this thing?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I got pulled in to help build a website, and that's how I started. And throughout the years, you put the effort, like I said, right, and you learn and you watch people who are smarter, and you just learn, and I think people will trust you when they see you kind of growing and following through on all the work that's needed. So gonna ask for a better opportunity that I believe throughout all that work, those Saturdays morning and Sunday mornings and volunteering, doing all these things, I have no doubt that helped me be a better person and a better professional, right? Because of how all these interaction that happened throughout that experience.
And that's the wonderful thing about growing up here in Omaha. I was born and raised here, and you talk about people in Omaha coming together, very friendly city. I mean, you hear about the 1%, of course.
Yeah.
But unbelievable story on how people can come together for different faiths, completely different thought processes, but everyone pulling the rope together. That's a great story.
Absolutely. It's beautiful.
And you got help from kind of the big name in town, right?
Yeah, we got a lot of support once they understood what we're trying to do, right? A lot of the foundations here, once they understood the story and what we're trying to achieve. And it's really not about the religious aspect more than about sending a message of we're here together. We can support each other as neighbors, right? We can be different, but at the end of the day, we're trying to be good citizens, good neighbors, good community. And that's the beautiful part. Yeah, a lot of big foundations here in town, once they understood and learned what we were doing, the support came in at a big level.
I think that's sometimes lost about Omaha, what a philanthropic community we have here.
Absolutely.
And,
a lot of very, very generous people. We see it every day with our clients and their intent for charities or passing on wealth to the next generation. And
those are all things we work on with our clients here. If there is that intent, a lot of things you can do with donor advised funds or charitable remainder trusts. I'm sure you're familiar with a few of those things now, aren't you, Karim? So Karim, Karim Khayati, I'm so glad that we started talking on the pickleball courts. It goes again to your point of if you just talk to people.
How's his pickleball play, John?
He's pretty good. The problem is he's transitioning from racquetball, and that is difficult.
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit of time.
Okay,
I'm working on it.
All right, well, do me a favor and
we'll see.
Beat his butt.
Well, I'm not very good. I mean, Karim can attest to that. So yeah. Anyway, but Karim, I'm glad you stumbled onto Nebraska. You have improved our community, and I just couldn't be happier that we ran into each other. So. If you'd like to know more about us at Soar Wealth Strategies, visit our website, soarwealthstrategies.com, or call the office at 531-867-3400.
Again, Karim, thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Join us next time on Financial Flight Academy.
Thank you for listening to the Financial Flight Academy podcast. Click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available. Visit our website at soarwealthstrategies.com or give us a call at 531-867-3400. And don't forget to click the follow button to be notified when new episodes become available. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of Soar Wealth Strategies. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing advice. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified financial service providers with any questions you may have regarding your investment planning. Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network, member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.